Today we are going to learn about the cholesterol and lipoprotein. So this lecture we will take in a two-part. In the today's part, we will try to learn about the cholesterol and cholesterol synthesis, mainly its regulation, and few things about its pool, that how it comes in our body and how it gets excreted. So first we try to understand that what does it mean. Now here cholesterol, that word itself suggests that chol means bile, steroid means sterols means solid, and all means alcohol. So just few things we can understand that cholesterol is also one type of alcohol. It is it's one type of lipid. So it is not a water soluble compound. It's soluble in alcohol only, and widely distributed in body. We know only things that cholesterol get accumulated and does the atherosclerosis. Okay, but it having the so many different roles are there. Now that is why we have written that it's a widely distributed. Somewhere in the next slide we will try to understand what is the significance of cholesterol. At the time we will discuss that how it comes to that. It's soluble in a chloroform and other fat soluble component. It is most important animal steroid from which other steroid compound are formed. Next. So as we have discussed, saying that so many significant roles are there. Now you all know, when you started with the biochemistry or physiology, you must be knowing that you have learned the cell membrane structure. And in the cell membrane structure, the most important part is the phospholipids that are there. And with the phospholipid, there are some internal cholesterols are there, and that maintain the fluidity of the membrane. Second point, we know that when you come in anatomy or physiology, there is a two type of nerves are there. One is a myelinated nerve, one is a demyelinated nerves are there. And when we call that a myelinated nerve, the myelinated nerves are having some insulation. And that insulation having the cholesterol in its component. Third point, cholesterol is utilized for the synthesis of bile acid and bile salt also. And that is the only way through which our body cholesterol can excrete it out. And we know that what is the main use of bile salt and bile acid? That is for the digestion and absorption of the lipid. Fourth one, that form the steroid hormone like glucocorticoid, androgen, estrogen and progesterone. Now we know that this glucocorticoid having the main role about the fight and flight reaction. And so if the cholesterol is not there, ultimately that particular action will be inhibited or there will be a hampered, and that might affect our response. Same way, it's mainly utilized for the androgen and estrogen. Now, you understand, if it is utilized for the androgen and estrogen, now you just try to understand if androgen is there, and for the androgen synthesis, if cholesterol is required, then the androgen synthesis occur into the testis. And this will play an important role for fertility, and as well as this particular thing playing the role for our secondary sexual characteristic development. So, in adult life, we can understand from childhood to adulthood, the cholesterol is most important thing. If we doesn't having the enough cholesterol input, then it might happen. Then fertility get affected, even the development of the secondary sex characteristic also get affected. Now, if you think about in a female, then in a female, if estrogen is less in an amount, then if there is a cholesterol synthesis is affected and estrogen is less in amount, then we can understand that young girl child may suffer from the menorrhagia, or maybe we call the primary amenorrhea. Okay, now we can understand with the menorrhagia means there is some difficulty with some abnormality with the menstruation that we call the menorrhagia. So if the estrogen is not there, then ultimately all the things get affected. Even same thing is there, that fertility get affected. Okay. So now we can understand how the cholesterol is important for us. When you come to the fifth point, it is required for the vitamin D synthesis also. And if the vitamin D is there, then we can understand it maintain the bond density and we can prevent it from the osteoporosis. So how the cycle will start, that we have to understand that if cholesterol is there, we have in enough amount, then we can synthesize the vitamin D and then ultimately it will utilize for the different purpose. Esterification, this is we have to understand because cholesterol is not a molecule which is only synthesized in a single tissue. Most of the tissue make the synthesis of the cholesterol. So when the cholesterol is transported from the one tissue to another tissue, at that time the esterification is required. And if the esterification is there, then only it will be transmitted from the one tissue to another tissue, otherwise it get accumulated. 7-1 already you have learned in so many subjects, if it is more in amount, then ultimately it does the atherosclerosis. I don't think that I should go in a depth of this topic. Next. This just we try to understand the structure. Just we try to consider over here that how many carbons are there. So you can see the figure and you can tell me that there is a 27 carbon compound is there and one hydroxyl group is there, and through that hydroxyl group that esterification will happen. We can say that whenever the free fatty acid are there, that free fatty acid get bound with the cholesterol with this hydroxyl group. Next. So come to the first part, that is absorption of cholesterol. There is nothing difference in the cholesterol absorption than the lipid absorption. As you know that in a lipid absorption, micelles are important. Micelle is an important molecule. So initially there is a micelle formation is there. Once the micelle is formed, inside the mucosa cholesterol get entered and again it get re-esterified and incorporated into chylomicron. This already we have understood in lipid digestion absorption. So when we are taking the cholesterol, that cholesterol may be having the free cholesterol or esterified cholesterol. In the intestinal lumen, it gets broken down, it converted to free cholesterol. When it enter into the mucosal wall of the intestine, then it again get esterified. So again cholesterol ester get formed, and that cholesterol will be transferred to the liver in a form of cholesterol ester and with the chylomicron. So with the chylomicron it reaches to the lymphatic system, then after it will reach to the liver, and then after for a different purpose it get utilized. Now today we try to understand main important thing that how the cholesterol gets synthesized in our body. So we are not going to learn the each and every step of the cholesterol, but we try to understand basic regulation about the cholesterol and what are the basic components required for the cholesterol. So here just we try to understand that cholesterol is synthesized from the acetyl-CoA. It means already we have learned so many times that when different molecule goes in a breakdown like glucose or amino acid or lipid, like being the so many pools of the acetyl-CoA, we are getting the acetyl-CoA from glucose also. We might get the acetyl-CoA from fatty acid also. We might getting the acetyl-CoA from amino acid catabolism also. Most of the time, whatever the acetyl-CoA will come into the pool, it will goes into the TCA cycle. So we can understand that 95 to 99% of the cholesterol goes into the TCA cycle. But the few amount of the acetyl-CoA may enter into the cholesterol synthesis as well as ketone body synthesis. So now we can understand with the each and every major nutrients that we are taking in a diet, that mainly are glucose, amino acid and fatty acid. When all goes in a catabolism, that forming the acetyl-CoA. So we wasn't having any limited resources about the acetyl-CoA. So many times that acetyl-CoA get formed and always get formed and always it will enter into the TCA cycle. So there will be some part will goes in a cholesterol synthesis. Okay. Now that is a different phenomena that at what time that more acetyl-CoA get diverted to the cholesterol synthesis. That already you have learned in diabetes mellitus and alcoholism that when acetyl-CoA pool get diverted from TCA cycle to cholesterol synthesis or ketone body synthesis. Second part, that it will happen in partly into the cytoplasm, partly into the endoplasmic reticulum, and mainly primary site for the cholesterol synthesis is the liver. Secondary site is adrenal cortex, ovary, and testes. So now we can understand that in ovary for synthesis of estrogen, progesterone, the cholesterol synthesis is required. Okay, same way in adrenal gland for the synthesis of glucocorticoid, that in de novo synthesis of cholesterol is required. So cholesterol synthesis happen into these three glands also. And here we have to remember that, as I told you previously, that cholesterol synthesis happen into the all nucleated cell, including the arterial wall also. Coming to the first step. So in the first step you can see there's a 2 acetyl-CoA is there. 2 acetyl-CoA bound together and form the acetoacetyl-CoA. And then after another acetyl-CoA bound, another acetyl-CoA get bound and it form the HMG-CoA. So we are trying to understand the enzymes or reactions, but we try to understand that initially 3 acetyl-CoA got bound together and form the HMG-CoA. Just try to remember the full form of the HMG-CoA, that is 3-hydroxy 3-methyl-butyl-CoA. Now, so many times when you're learning the enzymes and enzyme inhibition, this example you have learned so many times that HMG-CoA reductase enzyme get inhibited by some drug, and then after the cholesterol get regulated. So that is why we are concentrating in this part. So simply you can understand that 2 acetyl-CoA, another acetyl-CoA bound together and form the HMG-CoA. One acetyl-CoA having the 2 carbons. So the 3 acetyl-CoA were bound together, ultimately there is a 6 carbon compound get formed, that is HMG-CoA. Now another part we have to understand here, that is present in a both this HMG-CoA or HMG-CoA synthase enzyme is present in a both cytosol as well as mitochondria of the liver. But in both the organelle, they having a different function. Now if it is in the mitochondria, this particular HMG-CoA synthase enzyme will use the acetyl-CoA for the synthesis of the ketone body synthesis. While if the same enzyme, if there is a cytosol, then that acetyl-CoA will be utilized for the cholesterol synthesis. So simply we can understand these 2 steps are common with the ketone body synthesis and cholesterol synthesis. Even the enzymes are all common. But point is that while ketone body synthesis occur into the mitochondria, while cholesterol synthesis will happen into the cytosol. Next. In the third step, this HMG-CoA converted to malonate. Here you can understand there is an enzyme HMG-CoA reductase is there, and it will use the another cofactor, that is NADPH. And with the use of NADPH, the HMG-CoA is converted to malonate. And to all the UG students, I must tell that you don't have to remember each and every step of the cholesterol synthesis, but at least you have to try to remember this step only, because this step is one of the regulatory step of the cholesterol synthesis, as well as this step will inhibited by the statin group of drugs, and it will utilize in a further decreasing the cholesterol level. Next. So as I told you, HMG-CoA is converted to malonic acid by HMG-CoA reductase enzyme. Then malonic acid is converted to isopentenyl pyrophosphate, with that some carbon get removed. So now we can understand HMG-CoA was a 6 carbon compound, malonic acid is also 6 carbon compound. Then when malonic acid is converted to isopentenyl pyrophosphate, again that one CO2 is removed. So isopentenyl is a 5 carbon compound. And then after it converted to dimethyl allyl pyrophosphate, that is also isomerase enzyme, and form the this compound, which is also 5 carbon compound is there. So ultimately we can understand we have started with the 2 carbon compound of acetyl-CoA where they bound together, and then after later on 1 carbon get removed, and ultimately we are getting the two compound which having the 5 carbons. So this is just brief. So we can understand first step is the 3-acetyl-CoA, then HMG-CoA, glutyl-CoA gets synthesized, then malonic acid, then isopentenyl and diethyl alanine pyrophosphate is there. These both are bound together and form the granyl pyrophosphate. So there is a 10 carbon compound, then granyl will bound with another again isopentenyl pyrophosphate and form the 15 carbon compound, that is a farnesyl pyrophosphate. They find two molecular farnesyl pyrophosphate compound together and form the sequelae. So now you can say from we started with the 3-acetyl-CoA, 2 carbon compound acetyl-CoA, and now we are having the sequelae which is having the 30 carbons. And later on it goes on a modification and we get the 27 carbon compound cholesterol get synthesized. So here in the cholesterol synthesis we just try to concentrate only on a one step, that is a HMG-CoA reductase, which convert the HMG-CoA to malonate or malonic acid, and all the regulation also happen on this pathway. So first regulation that regulated at the transcription level. So as you know, the transcription level when you get into transcription level, it means it's related to either induction of gene or repression of gene. First we think that suppose if one person having the high cholesterol level. Once they're having the high cholesterol level, what does body try to do? That body try to reduce the cholesterol level, and for to reduce the cholesterol level, the cholesterol synthesis should be reduced. And for that reduction, body will try to make the repression of the gene of HMG-CoA reductase enzyme. So gene for this enzyme get inhibited. Once the gene for this enzyme get inhibited, the enzyme concentration get decreased. Once the enzyme get decreased, we can understand the velocity of reaction get decreased. Once the velocity of reaction get decreased, we can understand that synthesis or production of product get decreased. Ultimately, cholesterol get decreased. But this phenomena is not directly acting. Here, it acting a repression over the gene. So it takes the time. It might take the days, 2 weeks. When you're taking any drug which is inhibiting the enzyme, then it will acting on hours. When you're giving the drug, some drug which is inhibit the enzyme, then as it drug goes in the circulation, it will reach to the liver or it's a target tissue within an hour or 2 hours, that enzyme reaction get inhibited. But when it comes to the repression or induction of the gene, it will take the time. It may take the time day, 2 weeks, and that is why we call it as a long-term regulation. Now, so regulation of transcription gene of the HMG-CoA reductase, increase cholesterol will suppress the transcription gene of the HMG-CoA reductase and synthesis of cholesterol get decreased. Reverse will happen if the low cholesterol is there. No need for explanation, I think. Then same thing, if the patient is taking the statin drug. Now, here we have to understand many times when you face an exam, this type of question may be asked. Suppose we try to understand in a different way. Suppose patient having the high cholesterol level. Now, because of the high cholesterol level, the physician will advise to take the statin group of drug. Now, what does the statin will do? The statin does the competitive inhibition. And competitive inhibition to what? That is HMG-CoA reductase enzyme. Once the enzyme get inhibited, what happens? Immediately that cholesterol level goes down. Now our understanding start from here. Patient having the high cholesterol level started statin, there will be competing inhibition to HMG-CoA reductase enzyme and there will be decreased cholesterol level. And now patient is going to take this statin for years until the physician will tell patient will continue with the drugs. Now, once the patient is continue with the drug, cholesterol is always remain low. Now, what will happen at the gene level? Because of the low cholesterol level, now HMG-CoA gene get the induction. And once there is induction is there will be a increased concentration of HMG-CoA reductase enzyme. Now you can understand, patient having the fixed dose, patient might be taking the fixed dose of 10 milligram of drug daily. But after the 1 year, whatever the HMG-CoA was there, now it get increased. So now that concentration of HMG-CoA reductase is more. So what will happen? If enzyme concentration is more, again the velocity of reaction get increased and drug is not enough to inhibit all the enzyme. Okay, and it will take over the inhibition. And again, there will be a increased cholesterol level. So, in generally, we can say after some years, we don't know exact time, but after the some years, if patient is taking a fixed dose of the statin, after the some year, it might happen that this drug get resistance and it doesn't make the reduction in a cholesterol. So that we have to understand here. Second regulation, that is a covalent modification. As you learn in an enzyme that covalent modifications are so many types are there. Some molecule will bound with the enzyme and then after enzyme structure get changed. And because of the structure change, either become active or either become inactive. We specifically try to remember that phosphorylation of the HMG-CoA reductase enzyme will inactivate the enzyme, but dephosphorylation will activate the enzyme. Third one, there are the hormone like insulin and thyroxine will increase the activity, cortisol and glucagon decrease the activity. We come to this third and fourth point in the next figure and try to understand how the insulin and how the glucocorticoid or cortisol does the effect on a HMG-CoA reductase enzyme. Just in a fifth point, we try to remember the few names. The statin group of drug are competing with the HMG-CoA reductase enzyme. Examples are atorvastatin and simvastatin. So it is a theoretical part. When you see any patient of the hypercholesteremia, definitely 99% of the patient are taking this group of drug and taking the atorvastatin or simvastatin. Next. So as I told you, that insulin make the dephosphorylation from the gene transcription that will be directly regulated by the cholesterol, and if the translation will happen to the HMG-CoA reductase enzyme, and that HMG-CoA reductase enzyme convert the HMG-CoA to malonate. There is an arrow is wrong here. It is not from malonate to HMG-CoA, it is HMG-CoA to malonate, and it get regulated by the different hormone also. Next. So here we just try to understand how the insulin works. So now you all know that when you're talking about the insulin does the stimulation on a glycolysis. When the glycolysis is stimulated, then ultimately glucose is converted to pyruvate and pyruvate is converted to acetyl-CoA. So ultimately the acetyl-CoA pool get increased. Same insulin does the dephosphorylation of HMG-CoA reductase enzyme. So whatever the acetyl-CoA got formed, that ultimately will utilize for the cholesterol synthesis. So by this phenomena, we can say if the high insulin level is there, then that high insulin level might increase the cholesterol level. Next. Lastly, we just try to understand how our cholesterol pool get maintained. Now most of the time, we are having the three main pools of the cholesterol. First, in a diet. In diet also, we are taking the cholesterol as a cholesterol or cholesterol ester. Okay, so when you're taking non-vegetarian food or meat, or when the egg yellow part is there, there's a content of more amount of cholesterol is there. So so many foods are there, even some fish are there. There's having the also high cholesterol level. So in a food also we are getting the cholesterol. Then we are having the de novo major synthesis in a liver. And some cholesterol synthesis happen into the some other tissue also. As previously we have discussed that it gets synthesized by the adrenal gland or testis or ovary. It may have been a mammalian gland also. And it gets synthesized in all nucleated cell. So from that cell, if the more cholesterol is there, that cholesterol may be transferred from the peripheral tissue to the liver. So there is a three pool of the cholesterols are there. And out of this three pool, we can again reutilize this cholesterol by distributing to the other tissue with the VLDL. So there are some other lipoproteins are there which will transport the cholesterol from the liver to periphery, either LDL or VLDL. Second one, that's free cholesterol may be are also directly excreted into the bile. And some of the cholesterol may be converted to bile acid and bile salt into the liver, and it will, after the synthesis, it will go into the duodenum, and through the duodenum, it will come to the intestine. And we know that purpose of this bile salt and bile acid is for the digestion and absorption of the fat. So how it get excreted? We just try to understand this particular numerics. Because when we're treating the patient of the hypercholesterolemia, at that time these numerics are important, that how you can control the cholesterol. We know that averagely we are taking a 300 milligram of cholesterol and body synthesizes the 700 milligram of the cholesterol per day. Out of this 1000 milligram of the cholesterol, about 500 milligram of cholesterol get excreted through the bile. Okay, so almost half of the cholesterol, you can say, it will convert it to bile, come into duodenum and come into intestine. It means we are safe enough. That almost half of the cholesterol get excreted. But what is wrong? Wrong is that 95% of this cholesterol again reabsorbed. Whatever the bile got synthesized, again get reabsorbed. Again they get reabsorbed by the intestine, again it comes to circulation. So the basic thing with that we have to understand that if you use something which can decrease the reabsorption of the cholesterol from the intestine, ultimately we can get the success to reduce the cholesterol. And that is why if the patient having the hypercholesterolemia, doctor always advise for high fiber diet. That high fiber diet will bind with the cholesterol and ultimately that reabsorption get inhibited and that whatever the cholesterol is get excreted into the stool. There are some recent drugs are there. That drug will bound with the cholesterol and doesn't allow it to get reabsorbed. So there are some fixed protocols are there that if the patient having the hypercholesterolemia, that clinician will advise for the statin, about the high fiber diet. And third one, there definitely if there is a more amount of the cholesterol is there, then they might be giving some resin type of drug which inhibit the reabsorption. So I think for today's lecture, it is enough for the cholesterol synthesis. In a later part, we try to learn about the lipoprotein metabolism. So in that, we will learn that how the different lipoprotein get synthesized and how it get transferred. Thank you.